I've got the pleasure of introducing a very lovely lady, a very beautiful lady who, in spite of all odds in her health, has gone round and become a very successful lawyer. She's opened a law firm, and she's raised a family, and she's done everything what a normal woman would do, in spite of everything that's gone wrong with her. Maina, I'm very proud of you. You can see the admiration when I talk about you. She had multiple sclerosis in 1997, and then that's the time when she was starting out on her legal firm, and she had a young child to look after. She addressed that challenge. She went ahead. She got her firm, and then in 2007, she had breast cancer. She dealt with that, never let anything faze her. She's still smiling. She's always, you talk to her, she's got a big smile, more than any one of us in the room. So, Maina, it's a pleasure and a privilege to introduce you. Thank you very much for coming. And please, can I get the microphone to you? Yeah.
Sure. Because I cannot remember these things in. Thank you very much. It was such a beautiful introduction, and seriously, I do not deserve it. But I'll take it anyway, hey? Take whatever you can. Today we're gathered to celebrate International Women's Day. The theme for this year is to choose to challenge. Yes, I think I've had my challenges, and I'm so happy to share them with you. My name is, can you hear me? Yes. My name is Maina Gordon, and I've been asked to talk about my life experience and my problems with my health, which, you know, you don't ask for it, they just show up. Is this good? Yeah? All right. I grew up in Singapore. My parents had 8 children. I was the 7th. Lucky me, because all the brothers and sisters got sucked into my father's business. One of them didn't. He decided he could be smart enough to be an engineer and could, you know, get away. And I was looking at all these things that are happening around the family. And I thought, I obviously need to get out of here. So I also got into the university. Dad came home from his trips and said, Maina, what are you doing now? I said, I've graduated, I'm now a lawyer. He said, really? Where are you working? See, it pays to be the youngest one. I got away with it. So I got my law degree in Singapore, and I moved to Australia because I met this guy. It's always about a boy, isn't it? And we're still married. His name is Neil Gordon. Some of you might know him. And I was quite successful. I was in a large law firm. And then I had my child. And all the people who were pregnant we didn't get our job when we got our baby. Yes, that's not allowed these days, but this was in 1990. I decided to set up my own practice in my own home because I had my girl. And I decided, at least I come home. No, sorry, I'm home. And I have my child with me, and that'll be good. 3 years after I started my law firm at home, I was offered to participate in an exciting project where I had to open an office in North Sydney. This meant hiring staff and working 24/7. The energy during this time was exhilarating, running from one consultation to another, from one courtroom to another, the briefings, the constant meetings, the late nights preparing arguments. It was an exciting time. My whole life was immersed in my work, and it was a successful time for me. 3 months after starting up my practice, my mother passed away in Singapore. I got to Singapore and I couldn't understand why I was walking so badly. It was very hot in Singapore, and that made quite a difference to me. I came home as soon as I could and went to Maroubra, funnily enough, to see my doctor there. And he suggested it could be multiple sclerosis. Didn't know what it meant, but had to do an MRI, and yes, it was confirmed. There was work to be done. I was devastated. I had that opportunity. My dream had only just started, 3 months to be exact. I needed to keep going. I did not care what it would take. I knew I needed to spend more time with Divya, but at that time Neil was taking a break from work, and I thought, well, he could look after her. And I needed to pay attention to my MS, but no, there was no time. I decided to get steroids into me, massive loads of steroid, which gave me a lot of energy and power. And for 9 months, I kept going. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it anymore. They ended up hospitalizing me because I got a really bad attack of MS again. Concerned friends came to visit me in hospital, and I was given 3 main pieces of advice. First, I should stop work. Second, no more children. And third, focus on myself. Let me ask you, have you ever listened to gratuitous advice? Well, I obviously didn't. Advice number 2, no children. Well, I'm pretty sure as soon as I got home from the hospital, I conceived a beautiful girl, because 9 months to that date, she was born. I closed my office in North Sydney. I worked from home believing that, my clients will go to greener pastures. As soon as my clients heard about MS, surely they'll go away. But that didn't work as well, because they kept coming. They still do, but now I don't take up much work anymore. I spend my time with charities such as Cancer Council, the MS Society, Diversity Disability Alliance, and of course the Pink Sari project, which I'm sure all of us are familiar with. In 2008, I was diagnosed with cancer of the right breast. Now, 4 years before that, I was diagnosed with something called DCIS, ductal carcinoma in situ. That means cancer sitting in the milk ducts not migrating unless they decide to. But they took 2 lumps off, and they thought it was all right. I went off to India and spent some time at ashrams, and then came back, and 4 years later, there was cancer of the right breast. And I decided, the doctors told me, it's okay, it's only 2 centimeters. We can easily take it out. And of course, then you'll have to do radiation. Then you'll have to do, chemotherapy. And it'll all be right. I thought, no, look, I've got to get advice here. So I went to my favorite friend. It's called Google. And I asked Google, what should I do? What should I do? And I read that Christina Applegate, do you remember Married with Children, the sitcom? Now, she went and did a bilateral mastectomy on the first hint of cancer. And I thought, well, look, if she can do it, and she's so gorgeous and so young, I could as well. So I went for a bilateral mastectomy. Now, when they got my tissue, they checked the nodes. One of the nodes had stage 3 cancer. And because of that, they took all my nodes off. They checked the left breast, the one with the DCIS 4 years earlier. It was riddled with DCIS. So I'm pretty sure that had I not taken that decision of getting the bilateral mastectomy, I will not be here today to share this beautiful, event with you. And so the other thing was look after myself. Well, I've done this by sharing my time with my family, my girls, and my friends, you. How did I manage to get so happy? The advice I got when I was at the ashram was this. I met this guy at the ashram. Again, it's always a guy, isn't it? And all of a sudden I got this email from him to say, hey, Maina, how are you? And I thought, this is strange. Just had cancer. I can't respond. It took me 3 weeks to respond because I was always crying. I thought it was so unjust, me getting cancer on top of everything else. I'm pretty choked up. Within 5 minutes of me telling him, I've got cancer, I'm in a wheelchair, things are not good. This is what he said, and I think I have to share this with you. Maina, I know you have cancer and MS and now cancer. Sit with yourself, Maina. Meditate. Look within. It is given to us to choose what each moment of our life should be. Yes, there are constraints, of course. The body grows older. There is ill health, pain, and all that. Is the brain caught up in the cycle of grief, always verbalizing the fact of the agony, the pain? Or will the brain just watch without putting the experience into words? Do nothing. But that's exactly what one has to do. That is a statement of power, not resignation. At all times, be aware of the reactions of the brain, the constant verbalizing, and then maybe one discovers that one need not verbalize. There is a part of the brain where one can live differently. I wish you joy and luck and courage. It is amazing how much my priorities have changed as has my work-life balance. The energy of high-flying corporate life has been replaced with the energy of spending time with all of you. I have not stopped my life. I've just recreated it. And I've got one thing to say about, I know everyone's talking about their version of power, the challenge to change. I believe that as mothers, our role is to throw away all these fairy tales where we have to wait for Prince Charming to rescue the princess. Do not read these things to your children, to your boys or your girls. We've got to change. We've got to start from our families, from our children. And we will change. It's taken us years. But we will keep going. And with the help of men, it's our role, your role and our role to change this. We have to choose. We girls got to get up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Maina ji, for coming here and sharing your success story, your courage, because you are empowering all of us, because we all will go through our health challenges and we all will be empowered. Thank you so much.
We have Julia Finn amongst us. Julia Finn, our state MP for Granville since 2015. Shadow Minister for Carers, Shadow Minister for Consumer Protection. And she's looking beautiful in Sari. Please come over on stage, Ms. Julia.
Thank you so much. It's really lovely to be here with the UIA today to celebrate International Women's Day. Sue, thank you again for bringing everyone together, and thank you to the rest of the committee. Sue, you do such a wonderful job throughout the year with the Women's Committee, and you have done for many, many years, and it's really wonderful to see. Dr. Vias and the rest of the executive of the UIA, thank you also for bringing us all together. My parliamentary colleagues, Jeff Lee and Julie Owens, it's also great to see you. And Maina, thank you for sharing all that with us. It is really inspirational, and it really is very much fitting with this year's theme of Choose to Challenge. You've quite clearly faced far more challenges than most people and been really quite successful and still managing to fight on, and I think it's been quite inspirational, and so I really thank you. And also Swati, thank you for telling us about your success and your challenges you faced as part of corporate Australia, and certainly I wish there were more people like you trying to make corporate Australia a more welcoming place for women, and a place that's easier for women and people who are born overseas or from different backgrounds to succeed and to be able to contribute to their fullest. Certainly that doesn't always happen, but I really appreciate your advice in how that should be working, and I hope people take that up. This year's theme, as I mentioned, is Choose to Challenge, and this, the last few weeks in Australia have been quite confronting for a lot of women, particularly the thoughts that we aren't as safe as we should be, despite all our many, many achievements. We should be safe at work, we should be safe in our relationships, and we should be raising our kids to be safe with one another. And that has put a bit of a dampener on this year's celebrations. But we still do have a lot to celebrate and a lot to work towards. In New South Wales, for the first time ever, we have the Premier, Opposition Leader and Governor who are all women. And now, for more than a century, all three positions were held simultaneously by men. But for the first time ever, in the last 2 years, we now have women in all those positions. I'm part of a shadow cabinet which is half women. And that's partly a conscious decision from Jodie Mackay, but not a difficult decision. It's not as if every female MP in the Labor Party gets to be in shadow cabinet just so we can make that claim. We've done really well at bringing more women into the parliament. And I do believe that it is something that the Labor Party can be very proud of, and other parties should be doing likewise, and will actually make the parliaments a safer place. I was in local government for a very, very long time. When I went in, there were 5 out of the 15 councillors in Parramatta were women, and it was a lot easier place to be a young woman and to make a contribution than by the time I finished, when there was only 2 out of the 15 were women. It changed the tone, and it changed the way men behave around you, especially if that other woman wasn't there and you were the only one. It certainly gives people a bit of a licence to think that they can say things that are inappropriate and make you out to be the whinger if you complain about it. And these are really important changes. It's also really important for democracy that every single level of government is actually representative. Representative of the wider community in every possible sense, not just gender, but gender is of course very important. And it's not a representative democracy if it's not representative of a wider community. And I think in terms of ethnic diversity is something that all political parties need to do more to bring people in from all sorts of different backgrounds and encourage them and support them and give them opportunities to contest elections in seats that they can win. So we are doing very, very well in some respects, but there are some ways where we've got such a long journey to continue on. And I'm certainly hopeful that I've been able to assist and promote other women and give them those opportunities, but I'm hopeful that we can all think more carefully about some of the things we've heard today and make sure that those opportunities exist. And they are opportunities. We shouldn't just see them as threats. And sometimes that's how people react to people with talent, pushing themselves forward. They do see it as a threat. Again, I just wanted to thank you all for bringing us all together. It is really important to celebrate International Women's Day, to focus on our achievements, but also focus on the changes that we need to make in society to have a more equal society. And I know that the UIA thinks this is quite important, has been doing this for many years, and it's not the only occasion during the year where women get a look in. And I think that is in big part due to Sue, but I thank you all for bringing us all together, and I wish you all a very happy International Women's Day. I know it was last Monday, but we sort of celebrate now for an entire week. And thank you again for bringing us all together.
Thank you, Julia. That was a lovely speech. You're a member for Granville, where I have my medical practice in the same area. And so you are an inspiration to all of us as well. Thanks so much. I would now like to invite our UIA President, Sunil Vyas. I just want to say a few words about Sunil. Sunil has been a very successful AIMGA, that's the Australian Indian Medical Graduates Association. He's led our association for the last 3 years. He's an ex-president, and after that he became the president for UIA. And I can tell you, if he brings the same inclusiveness, the same inspiration that he gave us at AIMGA, and I'm sure he's brought all his talents here and skills here to UIA, I'm sure UIA will become a much bigger and a better organization to be, and I'm proud to be a part of the UIA. Thanks, Sunil. Over to you.
Oh, sorry, I'm lost for words. Thank you, Paolo, for such nice words. And I'm very fortunate Uh, Today, apart from celebrating International Women's Day, we've got a very special occasion we are also celebrating. We at United Indian Associations are actually celebrating 25 years of existence. That's the only Indian association which is representative of various different Indian organizations. And to get through 25 years is no mean achievement. So I'm very proud as president to actually, first of all, call my executive committee, if they can come on stage. We want to actually launch our 25th anniversary celebrations from today to the rest of the year. And as many of you may have noticed, we've got a new beautiful logo, which we are actually launching today as well. This is the first day we are actually launching our new logo for United Indian Associations. And we actually got a banner. So if I can call my committee to actually join me on the stage to unfurl the banner. And if I would also like to acknowledge our governing council, who have always been very supportive and in all of our endeavors. So we newly just come on board. If I may introduce Mr. Kiran Desai, who's our joint treasurer. Our public officer, Mr. Vijay Kumar Halagali. Our treasurer, Mr. Onkar Swami. Yeah. Our joint secretary, Ms. Dimple Jani. All of you would also know Mr. Dev Pasi. He's such many years of community service provided for various different organizations. Our Vice President, Mr. Dev Pasi. Our Secretary, Mr. Satish Padrana. And so for unfurling our banner to launch that, can I ask our Honorable Chief Guest, Honorable Jeff Lee, to come on stage, please? What? Yeah. And one of the great things for which I'm very proud to be Australian, not just Indian, but very proud as an Australian, is that we've actually got wonderful politicians. They take a lot of stick. They work extremely hard. This gentleman was, till late last night, he was at the Harmony dinner. We were with him there, and he still managed to come up on a Sunday to actually honor us with his presence for International Women's Day. Thank you, Honorable Dr. Jeff Lee. We've also got, as I said, our politicians. They're our leaders. They do a wonderful job. They're not appreciated enough. We've got, Jeff is the state member for Parramatta. We've got our federal member for Parramatta, Miss Julie Owens. Please come on stage. And they actually are on opposing sides of politics, and yet you get such friendly camaraderie with them. And that's what's something special about Australia, and you got to... That's why they're standing on stage together and have a good laugh together. May I invite our state member for Granville, Ms. Julia Finn. I would also like to... In fact, the stage is getting a bit crowded, but I would also like to invite our honorary legal advisor, Mr. Mohan Sundar, to the stage. And also, we've got former presidents of UIA. If I can actually invite all of them to stage, Ms. Sumati Advani, Mr. Raj Natarajan, Dr. Sid Orikondi, and Mr. John Kennedy. Can you please come onto stage, ladies and gentlemen? So we got
anywhere you like. I'll stand at the back. No, that's all right. That's okay.
ladies and gentlemen, the, introducing and putting of a new logo, the banner and all that actually takes many, many hours of work. And behind that, we've actually got a young lady who's actually been a great community worker and who's actually been serving United Indian Association by giving her free artistic talents. She's actually finally an architecture student, but using her graphic artist talents, she's actually been patiently putting up with us executive and the GC for various ideas for our logo. And going through with that various changes. So can I ask Ms. Shreya Joshi, who's actually helped design the logo and the banner as well. She can come to the stage. Yeah. And with Ms. Julie Owens and Dr. Jeffley, thank you for presenting that. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Well done.